What It Look Like TV, YouTube's own Varnell Hill, and we back with another one, y'all. I'm gonna give y'all my opinion on why I think we are where we at right now in society, and why I don't really think it's different from any other point in history. I just think it just looks a whole lot different to people, so it's coming across a little foreign. But if you ask me, the religions of old, they have just been replaced with these interest groups, whether they be conservative groups, liberal groups, the lgbtq community. All these now are becoming new schools of thought, and everybody is battling out for their school of thought, and that's no different than it has been forever. Back when the Catholics was against the Baptists, and not against, but you know what I mean. Everybody was kind of vying for their school of thought to rule. But the only difference between now and then is the schools of thought of old basically had a handbook of this is what we believe in, and this is how we're going to achieve what we believe in, and this is how we're going to live our lives. Even if people chose not to believe in them or tried to wiggle their way around them, the rules were there and they were clear. Nowadays, you have all these interest groups and all these people that are treating their movements like religion, but it's no clear handbook on what nobody believes and how they're going to go about achieving their goal of getting their point across. So it's just like the wild, wild west. So where it's the same in the fact that it's just a whole bunch of schools of thought competing, it's different in the fact that nowadays the schools of thoughts that's competing really aren't giving us any guidelines of what they really believe in and what the movements are actually really about. Because you could have two people from the same movement but fighting for two different things, or believe the movement represents something totally different. So it's just weird. And I think it's confusing a lot of us on the ground level. And at this point, I think a lot of people are rejecting everybody's message. And we don't want to hear nothing from nobody, because we're tired of constantly hearing something from somebody. If it's not men complaining, it's women complaining. If it's not the gays complaining, it's the trans complaining. If it's not people complaining about movies, they're complaining about what people are eating. If they're not complaining about what people are eating, they're complaining about what people are watching on television. It's a constant complaint, and everybody is virtue signaling. And if you ask me what I think it is for real, amongst everybody, I think everybody has consumed so much internet at this point that everybody is subconsciously clickbait. All y'all running around out here clickbait. I say a good 80% of people that get offended right now at this point in the game is because of clickbait. It's because, you got a headline. I got a headline. I gotta act on this. I got my moment in the sun. It's like we live in a clickbait, fake reality, false outrage. Nobody wants to listen to anybody. To actually listen and learn something from somebody, that would be way too much. You have to marry your idea, and you have to go down with it like it's the Titanic. Personal growth is not a good thing nowadays. Majority of the stuff and the majority of the way that I felt in my 20s, in no way do I feel that would engage in any of that stuff in my 40s. You're supposed to grow. But right now, people are being told that if you grow, it's corny or it's something wrong with you, and that's for everybody. It seems that's not for no specific race. It just seems like in America, we have an obsession with being stagnant. But while we stagnant, we talking all this big money stuff, like getting more money is going to change that empty feeling inside you. And as adults, we supposed to know this. And if you done lived long enough, if you done put 35, 40 years on this planet, you done lived long enough to look around and be able to start smelling the BS and putting things together and starting being able to maneuver to make life easier for you. But right now, it's like the world is against that. But I say all that to say, that's really not too much different than the way it was before. It's just packaged to us to look a little bit different. But we not getting to this point if we was being sold, you know what I mean, upward mobility and hope to begin with in the first place. Maybe I got a little off track, maybe I didn't. But those are just some of my thoughts on why we are at where we at today. And I think it's because people are so married to their ideas that these movements have become the new religions. And if you don't believe me, them churches used to get the money, they used to get that money for support weekly, didn't it? So do these movements. So do these movements. These movements are a big money maker. That's why they gotta continue to push that people are under attack and that it's, you know what I mean, all this injustice, because these movements are big business. And if it's no sense for the movement, if it's no sense for the foundations, these people can't make this big money. You know what I mean? People want to support what they believe in. People were supporting the church because they believed in the church. People not going to church no more. Somebody else getting that money. But y'all tell me how y'all feel about it in the comments section. These are just some random thoughts. Was I on to something? Was I off or something? You got something to add to the conversation? Throw it in the comments section. Yo, if you done made it to this point in the video, you are my MVP.
It was a stone groove, my man.
I'm out of here.